I'm gonna be. I gotta get a little closer.
All right. And I'm just going to do one little quick test here. Joey, can you talk? Just say.
Yeah, you want me to talk loudly because I'm a Portuguese guy and I talk really loud sometimes.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
All right, we're good to go, Joey. I feel like we've done this before. This is
It's a long time ago.
a couple weeks ago. I invited Joe onto this to be the first ever guest on the show. Didn't go so well. We had a great conversation.
Went well.
Great conversation, but the boys got a little loud and yelling, and I ended up with some severely clipped audio. And I told Joey that if you record quiet, you can amplify the sound after, but once you've made that commitment to peaking that, it doesn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
So Joey's got his Facebook Live on here. He's streaming. You want to change that camera? You okay with the angle? Do you want to see? You want to see a little bit?
We're a bit low.
There you go. Now we got exposed fat bodies, but
all right.
I'll take it.
You've been working out. Shut up.
That's true. I'm working hard, Joe. And we're not going to run over the same stuff that we did last time.
No.
But I did want to hear, for anyone who's watching, I've known Joe for several years now.
Several?
It's 2 years now. 2 is several.
Yeah.
I guess a couple.
August.
A couple.
2. Yeah.
Several years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's too long, man.
2 years.
But you walked into an incubator that I was in, and really sort of had just made, I don't know if just made the decision, but we're really officially launching with becoming a financial advisor and looking to go down that path as well too. So, just to give anyone who's listening to this, watching this, or reading this in the future, what guided you to become that financial advisor?
So it's funny, when you met me, I was only in my career for... My signing day was May 9th, so yeah, June, July, so 3 months. You met me when I was 3 months into it, and I knew, one thing I knew, even though I didn't know anything about anything, but I knew I had to have a web presence.
Yeah.
So that's one, I'm glad I reached out to you. So that's sort of the whole Budget Boss thing is basically...
Now, you didn't need to one-up me on this.
No.
Yeah.
But that was it wasn't one. No, that was
yeah.
you, man. That's why I'm giving you your props there, because having you, the first thing you told me when I got into that was, you got to be ready to be that Budget Boss, right? And I'm like, you said that, and I went home like,
the existential crisis.
Do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
So, but what got me in the industry was, for me, a lot of money has always fascinated me.
Yeah.
My lack thereof was the biggest fascination, and I always wanted to find a way to get more. And this sleeve is bothering me, so I'm getting
Take it off, buddy. Give it.
But always wanted to find a way to get more, and always fascinated me how people could turn money into more money.
Yeah.
It's something growing up with no money you don't think of, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that's odd. So that was something that fascinated me. I was always hardworking, but I only worked hard at things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
If I didn't really want,
I get that.
It's not good though.
Yeah,
it's not good
it
because you should be able to work hard at anything you do. But
Yeah.
I didn't. If I didn't enjoy it, I didn't work hard.
No, I get that.
So I got into the industry with some of regular clients. It's a restaurant I worked at. They convinced me to join the industry and to learn a bit about investments and insurance. So I went through my schooling in terms of that, and basically took my passion of budgeting and sort of making my money stretch and trying to help other people do it. But it was through the hard knocks of struggling with money that really led me to, once I started to turn around a bit, to get a bit, even amplify it in my own life, but then help others get to that point too.
Well, yeah, and I think that's something that I've really admired about you, is that it comes from experience. And I think, there's so many people right now who are talking about things that they maybe think that they're experts in, but haven't had the personal experience yourself. And at least from my belief so far, that if you don't have at least some resistance or obstacles to overcome and power through that, then you don't really have that knowledge that you're going to get and try to share with other people. And that's what I've really loved about you, is not only are you doing the normal financial advisor stuff, mortgage, insurance, and investments, all of this stuff, but you're trying to dispel, you're trying to give resources and information and just help people along generally. And I think that's a reason why you've had some success and sort of differentiated yourself from other advisors, because people aren't coming to you just for those products and services, but for your overall work that you've done as a person trying to get better at finance and just sharing that stuff. And that's something we touched about in the last podcast, but you read.
What last podcast?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Who are we talking about? But you wrote a ton. Like that was one thing that was absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah.
From a guy who, and I don't know if you had too much writing in your past, but like you just turned to me like I just met you, and then all of a sudden I see you pump out 300 posts or something, like something ridiculous.
345.
Like yeah.
Today, newest one. Today's post. Just gonna say today's, and then that's a year and 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, it's like a pretty short time.
Yeah, it was only 365 days in a year. But today's post is, why don't I remember this? What to do when you get out of debt. So it's a confusing thing. But with the post, the biggest thing for me was that, again, you explained to me how SEO works, and I knew I had to actually get some words ranking on Google. We're still going?
We're still going. Okay, You're good, buddy. Yeah. Don't notice my eyes flicking over. It's the constant monitoring that I'm doing.
That's cool.
But
that's cool.
I got to get young Jamie up something here.
Yeah, we'll hire a tech.
We need one other person,
But for me, yes, there's a means to an end. I do want to get ranking on Google, which you've helped me do. Yeah. But at the same time, though, I enjoy writing. Yeah. Writing's something I've always been great at. I've written, my big thing in high school and university was writing on political science and history. But as my business acumen grew, I really enjoy writing about finance. For me, what I find with a lot of successful financial writers or bloggers is that they try and make things easier for people to understand. And what I find a lot in my industry is that a lot of people try and make things more confusing for people, to sound smart or something. Yeah. It's like, you know what? I mean, it's all basic stuff. Yeah. It's just making the right decisions at the right time. And ultimately, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to do it. You don't need to have an IQ or whatever to do it. But at the same time, though, a lot of it is more loss mitigation than gains. Yeah. So you want to make sure you're not making the wrong moves. Right? So selling at the wrong time, or not covering yourself at the right time, or getting the wrong mortgage at the wrong time that has wrong penalties attached to it. Or just getting a mortgage at all if you're not ready to own a home. And people are going to do what they want to do, but I tell them what I think. And
that's something I have listed here. Yeah. Well, two things. I'm going to go for the mortgages first because you brought that up. We're in London, Ontario. London, Ontario, number 1. But
that's an L.
Yeah, that's an L. But the houses have inflated in pricing in London. We have seen the trickle off of people from Toronto, typically a lot of wealthy people from Toronto not wanting to live that lifestyle anymore, and moving, not even maybe necessarily downtown, probably upsizing. Yeah, they hit the jackpot. Hit a couple hours.
More like I got $500,000 I can throw in the bank
right now. Exactly. Right. And so they're doing that and coming to London, and I mean just it just seems to be pushing up prices anywhere. I just read an article. They said that, and this was an economist who tried to predict this, but in Vancouver, the houses right now are about 86% overvalued, which I don't know if that, to me, it seems like it's sometimes even more than that. I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I don't know. But I'm just wondering for you, you're 35, 36.
34.
34, God damn.
Thanks, man.
I know, I'm aging.
Just turned it too. So.
But if you're, I guess for anyone, it's not just this, but especially these people in the 20s and who are trying to get that first house, like what kind of situation are we in right now? Should we be waiting it out? Is it still time to do some purchasing, all this stuff, or are we trying to wait this? What are we doing? That's what I need to know, because I'm hearing different things from different people, and I've seen a lot of people jump into mortgages, I think, for houses that are overvalued, that they're now paying a little bit too much of some of them, a lot of their income into that, and I mean, there's other people who've obviously won out and beat this big rush and sold or bought in the right time there. But what are we supposed to do?
So my opinion on this isn't a popular opinion, but the one thing I will try and because I mean I could go buy a house tomorrow and I don't, and the reason why is very specific, because I think when you buy a home, it's more about the mindset that you're in as opposed to the conditions around you. So for me, I
guess I can record and listen to it back. That's the point.
But the important thing is that, number one, you're going to be roping yourself into a mortgage. Can you afford that? Yeah. Because ultimately, the value of the home, we all have. I mean, what's a dollar worth? Yeah. Like, what's this coffee worth? It's worth what I'm willing to pay for it. Exactly. And if some guy from Toronto is willing to pay $500,000 for your $350,000 home, is it really worth that? Yeah. Because you go buy that home and maybe it won't be worth $500,000. So what do you revert back to? A lot of times in situations like this, people make things way too complex, was I going to scoop huge and they
Yeah,
sell this house and it's worth this much? It's not. It doesn't really matter what it's worth.
It's worth that much.
It's
now.
only worth
Yeah.
that much when you sell.
Yeah.
So if you can sell and someone will buy it, that's great. But if you're buying it now, the biggest factor you need to equate in is, can you afford the mortgage payments?
Yeah.
Can you afford to maintain the home, such as maintenance, insurance costs, property tax costs? Because it's more expensive than renting. And a lot of people will confuse you that renting is more expensive than owning. It's not. It's not at all. And some of the most successful people I've ever met don't own a home.
Yeah.
But the one thing that people need to understand is that the investment of only owning a home only exists when you sell. It's just like owning 10,000 shares in Amazon.
Yeah.
If you still own them, you haven't made a cent.
Yeah.
You have to sell them.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to sell them today and make your money.
You're going to get it back.
But if you keep it and it goes down tomorrow, then you don't make any money. So people need to understand is that if you can afford that home and it's within your budget, then it's a wise decision.
Yeah.
But if you can't, then you're not making the right move, no matter what you think the home will be worth. Because ultimately, the home will jump in value. It's going to go up and down, like based on neighborhoods. It could be on an ancient burial site. There could be toxic waste underneath that we don't even know. But do you have a home to live in? And a lot of people take a business decision and make it an emotional decision. Or they take an emotional decision and they make it overanalyzed into a business decision where, I'm going to clean up here.
Yeah.
Can you afford the home? Can you afford the down payment? And can you afford to keep this home for an extended period of time? Is your job secure?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, these are the things that matter. These are
stress tests.
these are the fundamentals, right? People try and spook you with everything else that goes on, but if you can afford the home, then get the home if you like it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, if you can't afford the home, I don't care if you love it.
Yeah.
Then don't get
Well,
it.
and that's what worries. I think and I don't want to be one of those people who buys the home at the moment, maybe settle on that home, and then realize 6 months later that I way overpaid for this house, and I'm sort of living that bitter.
I mean, what's wrong with putting more money
mortgage
down on a home?
I know, yeah.
And people are like, oh, but that's my dream home.
Yeah.
You know what? There's 1,000 other ones just like it.
It's sort of
like
just a
literally
spot for
just
your
like
body.
Exactly.
And
you know what? Maybe okay, unique places are out in the country somewhere or whatever. Unique farm, whatever. In the city, nothing's really unique.
Yeah.
You can find other homes, and that home that you wanted to buy, the next guy can go bankrupt, and then you buy it 5 years later cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, these opportunities come around all the time, and people get so, I got to do this now, I got to do this now. You know what? Renting another year and saving more money won't kill you.
Yeah.
It really won't.
Especially if you've got a manageable rent. And we're lucky in London to have, at least what I've seen, decent rents and not not too many problems with that.
And in all reality, another year you save more money, you find a better relationship with a realtor or the realtor that you have, you develop, you understand where each other's at, and they'll find you a home.
Yeah.
They're in the business to do that, and they do a great job. But at the same time, though, you need to put yourself in the right position. Because ultimately, that house you buy right now is going to transition into 4.5 houses people have in their lifetime. So you need that house as down payment for your next house.
Yeah.
So if you can't stay in that house and you go revert back to renting, then you're going to have to redo the whole process again. So you buy that home because you can afford it, then you upgrade when you can afford that, and then you upgrade when you can afford that. And now all of a sudden you're retired, and now you got this asset that's paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to you're paying a mortgage into retirement because you've messed up the process along the way. Right? Because if you upgrade from a $200,000 home to a $500,000 home, do you have $100,000 down?
No, you just got
you just got the equity in the home.
Exactly.
So you use that house, you transition to the next house, but that process doesn't work if you get it over your head anywhere in that chain.
Yeah.
Anywhere. So.
Well, and that's just it's just when you talk to someone who's purchased their first house or is a little bit older and further along in life, like the main thing that I consistently hear is, don't worry about the month-to-month fluctuations. Pay attention to the long term, and it's going to increase over the long term. Mm-hmm. One of my things that I'm a little bit skeptical about is that going to continue to increase over the long term. That's a worry of mine. I hope so.
We live in a great country. Yeah. It's a great place to be, and the values will go up. I mean, ultimately, they go up over time. And it's just normal inflation, right? So even if you just go by normal inflation, value will go up. But even in general, just because the area we live in and the country we live in, it's a great place to be. We're very lucky.
And so there was one thing that you had mentioned before we got into the talk about mortgage, and I know that you talk about this a lot. And anyone who actually wants to look more into mortgages, you've got a ton of stuff on that. You try, yeah.
It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic. Tell me about it. Seriously,
it's a hot topic.
You said that there's a ton of people in the sort of financial world trying to. Just trying to share their resources, their insights, and everything they've done. But I know, and I've seen a couple of them, but I don't know them as much as you are. But if there's people who are trying to get this knowledge, the stuff that you know and stuff that you're sharing, and what you sort of said of simple, nice, not dumbed down, but very, very nice to explain. No, seriously,
Yeah.
though. Like I
Yeah.
there are people that I can tell when they're dumbing stuff down to me, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
I want to know from a simple so that I can explore the complex stuff later.
For sure.
But who are those people? Like I want, besides Budget Boss, besides going to your site. and
Yeah,
checking
no,
that out,
I'm not here to
but,
just plug
yeah.
myself. Yeah.
But who are those people that you've followed who have made an impression on you, or that at least you can say they're cutting through the crap and actually giving good advice compared to maybe some of the other people out there?
Well, the initial idol I have in terms of finances that actually helped me through my financial situation was Gail Voss Oxley, Canadian.
Yeah.
Awesome lady, no bullshit, just straight to the facts. She just tells people like it is, and I've grown into my career where I'm starting to take on that approach where I'm just, hey, take it or leave it, but this is what
You're blunt, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I'm trying to be
honest.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
But even with my clients, I'm trying to be completely honest where I stand with them, and I hope they appreciate that. But she's awesome. She helped many people get out of debt. She still does her thing. She's still on Twitter doing her thing, but she's ventured more into an activist role where she's standing up to certain governments that may or may not be in power right now that are making decisions that affect us all. So I appreciate that side of her. So she's putting herself on a limb there, and it's something that I respect. Yeah. The big one I really utilize a lot is Dave Ramsey, who out of Memphis, Tennessee, I believe. Down in the States, and he's got a couple million people following him and using his baby steps theory, 7 baby steps, to get out of debt into financial freedom. And I utilize a lot of his teachings in what I try to recommend. And in all reality, the funny thing about it, what I was doing with following what Gail did when I got out of debt and what I've done now actually ended up being the 7 baby steps that Dave Ramsey recommends. And I look back, I'm like, this guy knows his stuff. I didn't even listen to him. And I look back, and that's all the things I did, and it worked. Yeah. Right? So, like, he's awesome. There's all sorts of great...
Those are
Brian,
two good ones.
Brian Tracy's awesome. Canadian as well.
Yeah.
He gives great financial advice. There's all sorts of financial bloggers out there that are doing great things. I try and share their stuff as much as possible. Another one, though, right here in Canada, Patty Lovett-Reed on BNN. I watch BNN every day, try and get a little financial, what's going on in the world of finance. And you know what, the one thing I realize about BNN is that it's like CNN or TSN or any other network. They're showing stuff that is going to grab viewership. Yeah. What I love about Patty is that she's giving you nuts and bolts financial advice that helps people all the time. Yeah, exactly. As opposed to, this stock's going to be great or that stock's going to be great. This is all hearsay.
Something crashes.
It's not going to make It's not going to make you rich by you're not going to get rich from a stock. And if you do, great.
Yeah. Like everyone's
congratulations, right? You're the one dude who bought Amazon at the right time. Good for you. But at the same time, she's giving nuts and bolts financial advice that's helping people. And she's a powerhouse woman. I respect that.
Cool. Okay, those are some good recommendations. Hopefully, someone who's looking for
Patty Lovett-Reed.
I just find that's such a big first step for a lot of people of like just starting to follow someone who's giving out that advice or that they can follow or like pattern themselves after. And I find like when I want to get into something, let's find the top people in that sector and then start following them and learn from them. And that's that initial step into doing something.
And then throw your own flavor on it.
Exactly. I mean,
and I'm humbled by the people that follow me. I get. It's like a daily basis. People are now messaging me and telling me that they follow it, and it's cool. I appreciate it because you know how it is creating content. You put something out there. Like, did anyone see
no
this?
feedback, the emptiness? It's never good.
It's
never
gross.
good.
Which is good about producing a lot of content because someone's going to slip through the cracks. So
exactly.
You become cool with it.
Because
if you make that one a month and then no one watches it, you're like,
you're hurting on the inside.
I'll just do every day.
I know exactly.
Oh, which one did you read again?
I know, exactly. Exactly. Just play it off.
I didn't even remember what I wrote today.
You know what? It's hard, man. And as I said, we've talked about that before, but just in the world of tight attention and limited attention, and I think that's something that we've tried to talk about all the time, is that just because someone doesn't interested or engaging or reading now doesn't mean that they're not going to come back. And what so many people have done, and what you've done a great job of as well too, is like giving that rabbit hole to go down once they make that choice, right? And that, I think that's such a big thing, because with the internet, what we have with everything being indexed and archived, people can find something of value at any time. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter who wrote it. Someone 25 years down the road, budgetboss.com is still up, could be finding that and making useful things out of it. So
I have people from India, New Zealand, coming to my site daily, reading posts from a year ago, and I'm like, what? Who? August of 2017? What? They're reading this.
Crazy,
I'm like,
right?
this is awesome.
Yeah.
I got one post shared on an Indian mother's website. So it's a Indian, Indian, not native Indian, but Indian. And it's called Indus Woman. And it's basically Indian mothers sharing information with each other. Amazing thing. Beautiful thing. And they shared one of my posts about how to teach your kids about money. And like all of a sudden, like site views that day was like 300. I'm like, what? Over 1 billion people come to this Indian website daily.
Crazy.
Right? So I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But then
Love the budget boss. Yeah.
Hey.
And speaking about this, of course, I don't want to get you too hype and your ego too swollen by the end of this, but
can't get any worse than it is.
I know, seriously. 3,000 page likes on Facebook.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of people. I mean, there are, and I myself included. Like, there's marketing companies, people who they're masters at Facebook and haven't been able to rack up 3,000 Facebook page likes. And we're in a time where the reach of the organic reach of Facebook has gone down, and some people are a little bit hesitant of it, but to still get to that amount is pretty impressive. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would love to have 3,000 Facebook page likes.
Yeah, and you know what? Like when you got, I remember you were there when I got my first. The 100th person. And it's just, this friend knows me. Hey, the first people, thank you. Those first 100.
Yeah.
You didn't know what the hell I was doing, but you liked it anyway. I appreciate that. But then, a lot of people are jumping on board, and, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, ultimately, whether it's 33,000 or 30,000, I mean, hopefully one day it's a lot more. But the biggest thing is that the value has to be there. So if I'm falling, then there's no point to it. So it's still got to be good shit.
And then the big piece is I guess the quality of followers as well too, right? So everyone loves to see the big numbers, but if you've got out of 150 out of those 3,000 people are following you and dedicated to you and helping you out and using you, then that can be a sustainable living, right? Like
the coolest thing is people are provoking thought. Like people are commenting my stuff and having intellectual, intelligent. Civil debates about finance or this person's opinion. I post a lot of quotes with financial people or otherwise, and people are, this person's this, but they're intelligently, civilly talking amongst each other about, this worked for me, but and that's what it's all about. Because in this world of where one opinion's right and one opinion's wrong, and I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
At least we have people that are conversating with each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
about some productive topics as well too.
Yeah,
getting their lives better,
money. And ultimately, no matter what happens in the top echelon of people, it's not going to change our lives. What we do down here is what's going to change our lives, and I'm glad people are actually doing stuff like that.
So this is a big thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and I've sort of brought this up I think a couple times, but like this idea of balance, and this is, I think, maybe comes from my slightly, pessimistic vision of the future. Realism. I will say maybe more practical. But like, what for me, it's like we hear about save a certain percentage of your income, or when you're doing the mortgage, it's do a calculation at 35% and then give some room for inflation or a crash or something. But I struggle with this idea of the balance of saving and investing in the future, so that when we're older, we've got a nice, comfy place to have some support. We've got our nest egg, compared to the just the idea. And we want to be frugal, we want to save that money, but you're also trying to live in the moment and have a good life and enjoy your life. And so I'm just wondering, you're a financial advisor, you're a blunt guy. And you care a lot about money, but I'm wondering how you look at that, what your perspective is on that of, saving and being frugal versus enjoying your life and maybe splurging a little bit and getting some things you like.
Well, for sure. And I mean, I'm a glutton for punishment, so like I would never suggest someone live the way I live. I do have nice things, but I also, let my shoes wear down to the bone.
Okay.
They look all right. Keep them clean. Exactly. But at the end of the day, people need to find that right balance. Now, the one thing about it is that I tell my clients is that if you're handling all your responsibilities, including to your future self, blow every dollar.
Yeah. I like that, the future self.
Your future self, that's a bill.
Yeah.
That's a bill, and people need to start treating that like a bill, because ultimately, if they don't treat it like a bill, it will become a bigger bill.
Yeah.
right? So you either choose the way you want to retire or you have no choice. So you have to
make that choice.
You have to make that choice. And the one thing that people need to understand is that there's a certain level of pain that will exist or a greater level. It's like anything, like you talk about, compounds.
Yeah.
So the choices you make now compound into a station in life you will become, which may not be where you want to be. And I have clients in that spot. There's nothing bad about these people. They're not bad people. Yeah. And not necessarily they made bad choices either. Maybe something happened to them. Yeah, some of them, like a husband dies or they got sick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, we have, and what I try and promote to people is that we have the ability to make sound choices right now that in turn will prevent, I mean, you can't prevent yourself dying. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Exactly. But what you can do is make your life in the meantime better by, it's going to take some sacrifice.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you say to someone right now, you're never going to take a vacation until you're 55, but you'll retire and be able to go on vacation every year for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You don't take a vacation from 25 to 55, but then you could take a vacation for the rest of your life from 55 to 85. What would they say? I don't know about you, but I would say sure.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you something right now, when I have time to enjoy my time, I'd rather enjoy it then.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, I get it where people are like, yeah, I want to do this now. I want to have, yeah, great. You know, life's short, but then life can be freaking long.
It can be very long.
When you're poor, life is long, man. And I'll tell you something right now, like the life for me has been very short recently because it's good.
Yeah.
But when I was struggling, life it was long, man. It's a long ass day. And you look at a guy sitting on the side of the street that needs help. His days are long days, man. Your day's short because you're doing things, you're busy. And you know what? Ultimately, taking those steps now doesn't mean you can't do what you want. It just means you prepare for things.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe, you're not going on 2 vacations, you're going on 1. And I mean, ultimately, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once.
Yeah.
Unless you're balling.
You've done something right. Yeah, who cares then?
But then
break the rules.
But then now your worry becomes blowing it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So I mean people do that too. So people it's funny because I mean I have clients that were janitors their whole life and they're retiring a millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe they found their form of enjoyment as their home and working around their home and being in their home, having a nice garden, and then every once in a while the nieces and nephews come over. Like I have these people who like no kids, no nothing, blah blah blah, but they have a big nest egg and they've never worked at a job that paid them a ton of money, but at the same time they put it away and now they can do what they want. But it's funny, the people who do that usually don't want to do much. They just want to chill,
exactly, right?
You know? I mean, you can't sail around the world all year and expect to be wealthy. I mean, you got to make choices. And in all reality, the choices you make, you just got to live with them. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, that's the outcome.
Well, there was something in Office Space. It just made me think about that. It's just like, you know, people who want to be rich often want to do it because they don't want to do anything. But you don't have to have $1 million to not do anything.
No,
I mean,
you could go sit on the side of the road right now.
You see a lot of people doing that, right?
Yeah, so, that's cool. Whatever, man.
And you know, I guess there's a big difference between sitting there and doing nothing with $1 million and sitting there with negative money and doing nothing.
Yeah.
But you know, if that's the goal, then I think you need to.
You know what I would do tomorrow? You know what I would do tomorrow if I won $1 million today? You want to know what I would do?
I do want to know. I do. Let me.
I'd go to work.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And you want to know why? Because that $1 million by the time I'm 45, 55, 65, that's going to be $3-4 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And that can make some real noise.
Yeah.
But $1 million right now, I could blow through that in a month.
Too easy.
Easy.
People think it's so much money.
House, furniture, car, this, that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even exist to me.
Yeah.
I would show up to work. I'd keep the part-time job.
Yeah.
I would show up to work. Why? Because that $1 million, the $1 million intact is worth more than anything you can buy with it.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. They look at $1 million like, oh, it's $1 million. Look at all the things I can get. You know what I see when I see $1 million? I see 5%, $50,000 a year in income.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
I see that. I'm like, I can have $50,000 a year for not doing anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll work part-time.
Do it once.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Like, I that's what I see. Oh, it's $3 million? Now I can have $150,000 a year for not doing anything? I'll wait 10 years for that. I'll keep that in the bank or in my investments for 10 years for that,
Yeah.
right? But why would I spend it all now and I got a couple $100,000 and I mean, yeah, I'll take a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Take a little
But
bit,
at the same
yeah.
time though, you're not going to retire with a couple $100,000
No, exactly.
comfortably at the age of
Yeah,
34.
what do they say now? What do they need? $1 million? 1.2 or something?
Well, in all reality, if you want
More than that.
$30,000 a year in retirement,
Yeah.
which isn't a lot, so let's just
No, that's pretty.
let's call it 36,000, $3,000
Yeah.
a month in retirement. 10 years is 360,000.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at, you do that 20 years to 720. Now you will have growth, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you hit the level of around 5, 6, 700,000, you can do some things. But at the same time, you can't do everything,
Yeah.
right?
No, exactly.
You can't do everything.
If there's some flex,
Yeah.
it depends. It really depends on what your lifestyle is and what you want to do. Because some people are very comfortable with that. Other people are not going to be very happy.
Well, and then you're at the whim of the markets, right? So at the end of the day, like you want to put yourself in a position where all the noise and all the crap going on around you, Trump bombs this, new president does that, new prime minister's an idiot, whoever it may be, whatever people think, none of that
Yeah,
affects you.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
untouchable.
Yeah.
And you know what? At the end of the day, like on election day, you go place your vote or something. Beyond that, whatever happens shouldn't affect your life.
Yeah.
Now, the people whose lives it really affects are the people who are in dire situations and need those services. Unfortunately, right? And that's who I vote for. I don't vote for myself because my life's not going to change.
Yeah.
Now, in the future, it could, where I need
We'll see what
this
happens here.
Yeah, and I've needed these services in the past,
Yeah,
health
yeah.
and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, blaming these other circumstances, you want to make yourself untouchable. You think rich people complain about who's in power?
Yeah.
I mean, they give them money to get kickbacks or whatever. Like they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm intact. I'm untouchable. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you don't get there by going on vacations every year. It's just true.
Well, this is I think we'll get wrapping it up here, but this is actually something that I had wrote down and I've just been thinking about recently. You sort of put a good thought into that of like. You're especially again, I don't want to bring it back to the 20s, but when you're in your young life and you're building that career and you're building that future, I hear this sort of binary thing of, you trying to go for income or are you trying to go for skill mastery, right? There's a lot of people who, you don't necessarily need to make the income when you're in the 20s. It's about mastering a skill, getting something that very valuable for an organization or a company that you're going to leverage forward, moving forward, right? Did you lose that?
No, it's just my story.
Storage is a belt full.
Yeah.
Is it recording Is it recording to the device as well too?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just going live
You've
on,
just got
on Budget
You've just
Boss
got
on
that
Facebook.
crappy
Yeah.
iPhone.
It's iPhone
4.
5S,
Yeah,
5S,
yeah,
not
you're a real
4.
frugal boy.
I'm waiting for the new one to come out. Then I'm going to splish splash.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying, and the biggest thing that people need to understand, and this is what I've tried to do in the jobs I actually care about, because there's a few I didn't. I just used them to get from point A to point B. But the jobs I've actually care about, and people need to understand that income's important. Yeah, you need to get by, but almost any job you have will allow you to get by. You need to make yourself indispensable.
Yeah.
And you need to find out where that is.
Yeah.
Like, you need to find out what that is. So if it's something that you really enjoy doing, like make yourself indispensable, because then the money will come.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, if it's something that you don't enjoy doing, but you're indispensable and you're good at it, you got to make trades, right? So do you want to be, basket weaver selling them for $1 on the corner because you love it?
Yeah.
But you can't get by, or do you want to be a guy who's making $120,000 a year at a job that he kind of doesn't like, but at the same time he's good at it and he's got respect he you know what I mean? So these are trades, right? So when you're young, you have the opportunity to branch out and actually, dive into things that you like and then become really good at it, and then
without as much risk. You've got time to recover.
You're right down there. Like you can't go much lower than that, right? So I mean, unless you got kids and whatnot, and you're young, then it's a different ball game. You got to take care of business.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people making late career changes, which is obviously it gets more difficult, but it's still something that's doable, right?
100%. And I mean, the thing is, in my mom's an example to me. She always upgraded her skills. I mean, she first started off putting bows on envelopes at Carlton Cards in Brampton.
Yeah.
They hoofed it to the States, so she lost her job. She got a job making more because she went and did education course. She learned how to use Microsoft Excel that we all laugh at, but this is early 90s.
Yeah.
Right? No one knew how to use that. It was
myself,
like wizardry. It was like wizardry. What is this spreadsheet? What's a spreadsheet? But she learned that. And then this is someone who didn't even go to school, right? And then she got an upgrade. Everyone else that she worked with downgraded in pay. She upgraded in pay. The place she went to next went out of business, but she took HR courses. She took management courses. So then she got another job. When that place disbanded, the two brothers separated, place went under. She got a new job making more money.
Yeah.
And I mean, now she's in a spot where she could move on and get another job, but she's indispensable, right? So, I mean, you don't need to be the smartest person in the world. You don't need to be the most talented, but you need to work hard and you need to give a shit a little bit. And people need to see that in you. And if they see that in you, then you're gold. You're gold. And the money will come.
Yeah.
The
I
money
always
will
thought
come.
that was interesting that you could, that the easiest way people had big jumps in pay was by switching companies. I always thought that was such a weird thing. But this is what you talk about, the indispensable component.
And the
right?
one thing
Like,
about it, people always think like, oh, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to get this raise, this raise, this raise, this raise, this raise. You have this tunnel vision that you're like, okay, I'm going to be with this place and I make this now, but I'll make this then. There could be a place that's paying you more right now for exactly what you're doing. And that's just company culture, mottos, or business models that they have. Like, they don't, like, you don't know. So never be afraid to like jump. You take risks.
At least
but it's calculated
right?
risks, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you research the company. Yeah, they got a strong history. Boom. I made 60 grand. I made 80 grand. I'm doing the same thing. I just upgrade my lifestyle.
Yeah, maybe be careful for the startups and you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. Put a resume in the 6.5.
yeah, exactly. That's what everyone wants. Joe, I don't have too much more for you here. I wanted to talk a little bit about how expensive it is to live in Canada, but I don't really think we need to reiterate that much. So
it's expensive, but ultimately the big thing is it can be as expensive or as cheap as you want it to.
Yeah, and it's what that was. This one was. There's an article here of Globe and Mail indicates spending by households in 2016 averaged $27.50 for telephone, $49 for internet, $53 for TV, and $92 for mobile services. And
mine's all more than that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's great, and that's mine is too.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not paying for TV distribution, and I don't got landlines, so there's some things that are mitigated. But
like, I could make myself I could literally go off the grid and just have a cell phone and watch movies on it, and I don't need much else. I could even find a way to steal someone's internet. I mean, I could do these things, right? But the same, or just pay someone $10
look
a
out,
month.
neighbors.
Exactly. But at the same time, though, I like the comfort of having the things. Now, is it a waste of money? Some might say it is, but at the same time, though, I am taking care of my obligations elsewhere.
Yeah.
So if you're having a hard time, go down to bare bones. But life's expensive. It can be cheaper, though. I mean, you can get food real cheap if you really look for it.
And that's I guess one last part that I'll ask you, and then if there's anything else that you wanted to say as well too. But I had a good conversation. This was actually through Reddit. I'm starting to comment on Reddit, so that's already gone out of control already. Yeah. But it was about exactly. It was about groceries, right? And
are you cute?
I'm not cute.
No, you're not cute?
Okay. No, that guy's a cute guy.
Yeah,
Bill, did you see Bill Myers doing all this stuff? Bill Myers
cute. I heard Q's all right. Q's all right.
But it was, I guess, time versus money obviously is the big one there. But the big debate was, should people be going to multiple grocery stores to get the deals, you know what I mean, to make it a frugal shopping trip, or is it what's more productive? Is it the saving the time? And that's such a weird thing, right? Because for some people, they're always going to choose time. And I don't always make that decision, but a lot of times I'll make a purchase or buy a software because it's going to save me a lot of time and hopefully in the end increase
I almost
money.
always choose time.
You choose time.
Yeah, I mean, I could go clip coupons and price match and stuff like that, but I'm like, you know what? I go there, I pick it up, I'm done. That's it. Yeah. I'd rather focus my energies on trying to make more money to then
increase the income.
Increase the income and then make smart choices. Like, you need to eat, you need to do this stuff, but at the same time, you don't need, as you could tell, a brand new phone or whatever, right? But at the same time, you make choices and you make wise ones, but I don't have it in me to to jump around, go here for a block of cheese, and then go there for this, and I'm like,
it's quite a thing. But there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people doing it, and it sucks to me that there are people who almost have to do that out of necessity. You know what I mean? That's scary me.
And I give them mad respect, but I was 27-year-old sandwich artist when I lost a job. Yeah. And I'm like, please, no friends come in here.
Exactly.
Right? But I was there for 2 months until I find something better. I was at the next one for 2 months until I found something better than that. And then I was at the next place for 5 years. Yeah. So it's kind of like, and now I'm in this career. Yeah. And it all started from the one job. And that's what people need to understand is that they don't, You don't need to know what you want to do, but you need to know what you don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Find that extra.
Yeah, it's like finding a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Like so many people, I want the guy who has this, this, and this. How about you just want the guy that like isn't abusive, has a job, takes will take you out to dinner, blah blah blah. Like
lower the
you should at least know what you don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many people don't know what they don't want.
Yeah.
And if you can focus on those things, then what you want will appear.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't know what you want often until it's there. And then you find it, like whether it be job or things that you do in your part-time, like, organizations you involve yourself in. You don't know which one fits until it's there usually. And it's the same thing with relationships too. So, and don't ask me about that because I butcher that stuff.
Yeah, Joe's financial advisor, not a relationship advisor.
No, never claimed to be.
Yeah, but
never claimed to be.
I guess so. We'll end on this. So one thing that I often find is I will hide. I have something that I don't want to lose. I'll hide it in the present, so I can find it in the future. You know what I mean? I hide it for future self. Put it in a safe spot so that I can go back and find it because I lose things all the time.
Like sometimes a physical item.
A physical item is what I'm talking about. And I guess what I'm trying to get to, sometimes my present self outsmarts my future self. But you brought out that idea of like your future self. And I'm wondering, I guess, for you, but then, for anyone who's just trying to get more engaged in those finances and in the financial world of what should we be doing for our future self?
The biggest one is stay out of debt. I can't stress that enough. And you wouldn't believe, like the people who, like I have clients that are 19, I have clients that are 90.
Yeah.
And the people who hit retirement with debt are hurting.
Yeah.
And if you can hit retirement with no debt, you're good. If you can hit retirement with no debt and savings, you're great.
Yeah.
If you build the practices into your life to stay debt free when you're young, hate it with a passion because people just willy-nilly rack up credit cards and stuff like that. And people, there's a whole lot about the system being rigged. The system is rigged.
Yeah.
But it's not rigged to the point where you can't maneuver through it. You need to have a brain on you. You need to not fall victim to commercialization. You need to consumerism. You need to make
smart.
Yeah. You need to fall. You can't fall victim to those things because they're easy and they're easy for a reason.
Yeah.
They're easy because they fall to your base instincts of consuming. So if you can ignore that and just focus on even when you're young, just keeping level, just staying level till you're 30, then because when you hit 30 and you have a mass amount of debt, it makes it tough to buy a home, start a family, do all these things. And then all of a sudden when that becomes tougher, you're doing it at 40, but then maybe you're carrying that debt with you then. I find the people who hit 30, it's sort of, they go in two different directions. They either keep doing the things that they've been doing or they decide this is BS and I'm done. Right? So maybe the things that they were doing were great, but if you're going down the wrong path, you got to correct it. And it's got to be, it sounds like I preach a lot, but it's got to be taken seriously because the things I've seen are unbelievable since I've been in this industry. People taking mortgages into their 70s and 80s. It's not, it makes their life so hard. And if you think life is hard now, imagine when you're not young and you can't work anymore. Because the biggest thing you have when you're young is youth. Yeah. Even if you're not smart, you have your youth. You can maneuver. You can do things. You can't maneuver when you're 80.
Yeah. So people don't give as many opportunities to me.
No, you're not going out there. Hey, it's not happening. You're done, right? It's over. So you gotta take those things seriously and just save a bit of money, even if it's a little bit. I got clients that give me $10 a week. I got clients that give me $1,000 a week. Right? So you gotta be as much as you can. Do it. And it's not easy when you're poor. And it's definitely not easy when you got kids. Yeah. But
there's a way. It's been done before.
Well, it's been done before. Not only that, if being poor or being low income at a job that doesn't pay you enough is taking away your ability to save, you just answered your own question there. Yeah. Switch jobs. Okay, I need to get a better job. I need this skill for it. Get the skill. Get the skill, get the job, right? Maybe you got to go in this straight line to get here, but it takes you going this way first, and then you get there. Yeah. But ultimately, everyone needs to be saving, and it should be something that is taken seriously enough that you're willing to change what you're doing right now to do it. And if you can't do it, it does. It hurts, right? But yeah, I mean, I got clients that are, they go on cruises every year, and it's like middle of winter and they're tan. I'm like, that's a life, man. That's a life, man. That's where you want to be. And, so I mean, it's all choices, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand that you only change if the pain of what you're dealing with overcomes or supersedes the pain of change.
Yeah.
And you have to.
Yeah, people are waiting for that convenience factor, or when it gets.
It's never
too
easy,
painful.
man. It's
No,
never
it's
easy.
not.
It's never easy, and nothing worthwhile is
Yeah.
easy ever. Because then everyone will be doing it.
That's true.
Yeah, everyone will be broke, and everyone's broke. So why? Right? So.
Joe, is there anything else that you want to say?
Well, I had a set of questions last time. I mean,
I
last
through
time.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
we were
but,
talking about it.
You know what? I think we probably kept people here
Covered some
long
stuff.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. If you guys enjoyed this conversation at all, got Budget Boss, Joseph James Francis, even. Great guy.
Don't call me JJ though.
Don't know JJ.
No
Don't
JJ.
call him that, anyways.
No.
But
No Suze.
the fade looks good too. The haircut's fresh.
Authentic Barbers,
Joe,
downtown London.
Yeah, shout out to them too. We're at Innovation Works right here, hanging out in the subterranean suite. But
Subterranean suite.
Try to spice it up a little bit. Yeah.
That's good.
That's a little more glamorous down there.
Than 6'5" cellar.
Yeah, the 6'5" cellar is a tough one. But
Yeah.
Joe, I really appreciate you coming, making you do this again. I watched the audio this time. I don't think we're clipping. Pretty
We're not
excited.
clipping?
I think we're pretty excited about that. Yeah, we're good. And I hope that we can do this again sometimes. We got always talking, and we've talked for hours just about random stuff. So I think we have some other topics in the future too.
I didn't swear, so
Yeah,
it's
that's good. And
I
we
said
didn't
shit
we didn't
once.
even do politics.
No, don't
that's-
get me started.
That's for another time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I think I got a little sweaty throughout this whole thing.
It's hot down here.
It's hot down here.
Well, you turned down the AC.
Turned down the AC.
'cause
So
it's
this,
loud.
if you guys are looking at my pits or Joe's just staring at my chest right now, just
No one can
don't
see
do
you,
that.
man. No one.
Hey, that's true.
No
See
one
you